Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene in Las Vegas, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor for the past 35 years. And this is our Gary Wins preview for Monday Night Football, October the 21st, as the Baltimore Ravens travel to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Ravens are a 3.5-point road favorite, and the total is very shoppable. The line here is 49.5 all the way up to 50.5. Westgate here in Vegas has 50.5, so they take a lot of sharp action, so make sure you go around and shop whether you're taking the over or under and get the very best number, because they're key numbers in the middle of that. We have two teams that have basically almost the best two offenses in the entire NFL, two Heisman winning quarterbacks facing off for the ninth time. And we have a situation here where the Baltimore Ravens come in. They have 21 touchdowns scored by their offense. Tampa Bay, 20 touchdowns scored by their offense. So the offenses should have no trouble moving the ball. It'll come down to what defense can turn the other team over, in my estimation. And when you look at this game right now, you have Lamar Jackson possibly having his best year. And why is that? Because they went out and picked up Derrick Henry, bulldozer running back. And that has really opened up the offense, and not too many teams have really two quality high-end tight ends. So it really makes it difficult for teams to be able to stop completely what they want to do. In Baltimore, they basically had a little bit of a rough game in the first game against Kansas City, then really laid a terrible egg against the Raiders, which is stunning now when we see how bad the Raiders are. But they bounced back, and in the last 4 weeks, 30 points, 41, 35, and 28 points. So they're lighting up the scoreboard right now. As far as Jackson goes on Monday Night Football, how has he been? Well, he's got the highest all-time quarterback rating on Monday Night Football. So he gets up for the Monday night games. I still have questions about Jackson because he's never won a big playoff game in my mind. And you got to win big playoff games to really be considered elite to me. So he may get all the accolades. He's got an MVP already, but he ain't got no big wins. And as far as I'm concerned, for right now, as of today, he's still Kirk Cousins' twin brother. Neither one of them ever won a big game. But he'll go against a defense of Tampa Bay, number 27 in the league. But sometimes stats are a little bit deceiving, because Tampa Bay has actually faced 4 elite quarterbacks so far this year. And their defense allowed those 4 quarterbacks 20 points, 16, 16, and then one time 36, and that was in overtime. So before overtime, they had given up 30 points, and they gave up some big plays late against Atlanta. They have some injuries, especially at the cornerback position. So, you never want to come into a game with injuries at cornerback, but that's how the league is, and injuries are a big, big part of the game. It's just a matter of what kind of depth you have. Luckily for Tampa Bay, they have the capabilities on offense. Their offense, again, is ranked number 8 as far as stats go, but that's by yards per game. But this is a situation where they coming off a really, really good showing in their last game against the Saints, where the offense clicked on all cylinders. Mayfield has 15 touchdowns, so he leads the NFL in that category. And I really like the running back, Bucky Irvins, that's coming on for Tampa Bay, and he gives them an extra added dimension that they really need. And, as far as the offensive line goes for Tampa Bay, that's the one weakness. And coming into the year, you always wonder, how good could a quarterback be with an average offensive line? I'm big on offensive lines. I did a few videos for Sunday games, and I mentioned how the left tackles were out for the Eagles and the Giants, and I thought that both quarterbacks would possibly get sacked a lot, and they did. And the Eagles were just able to make a lot of big plays. The Giants couldn't overcome it. And that's the situation here for Tampa Bay. That Mayfield has been sacked 17 times. He could have been sacked 30, because I watch the videotapes, and I do videotape watching every week for all the games. And this was a situation where every week I give Mayfield the Magician of the Week award, because he gets away from so many sacks, and he's going to have to do that again to keep his team competitive. Now, when we look at the defense for the Baltimore Ravens, they're just middle pack. And, they did, though, again, they held the elite quarterbacks that they've played, though, to extremely low yardage. They held Kansas City to 353 total yards. They held the Bills and Josh Allen at 236 total yards. And then they held Washington, my Commanders, my team, to 305 total yards. So this is a situation where they've gotten up for when they're playing that big-time quarterback. They've really gotten up for the game. And They did not get up for the Raiders, and a lot of teams do this, and that's one of the tips that you have to be wary of. A lot of people always ask me when a real good team doesn't play well or, God forbid, gets beat straight up and gets upset against a really bad team. That's part of why it happens, is because you just don't get up for the game, and you have to get up for these games each and every week. It's not possible to do it 18 weeks in a row. The Chiefs won again today. I don't really feel that they have even played just barely above average for the most part, but their defense has really come up big. Mahomes again with a couple more interceptions today. So it's going to come down to turnovers. The game being in Tampa Bay is a huge advantage to at least Tampa Bay being able to be very competitive, I believe, because at home, the crowd will get them completely into the game for sure for the entire outcome for 4 quarters. And I like the fact that the Tampa Bay team at home, they have a 17-point win and a 19-point win already. As far as Baltimore on the road this year, they lost by 7 at KC. They won by 3 at Dallas. They won by 3 at Cincinnati. So they would not have covered this spread tonight or the game for Monday Night Football of 3.5. So you got to take that into consideration for sure. Now, the key coming into this game is the big-time injury report of Mike Evans, the superstar wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is questionable. I would expect that he's going to go, but they need a healthy Mike Evans. He's still playing in his prime, and he's a fantastic red zone guy. He's very tough to cover when they get close to the goal line, and that's a big weapon. And, you know, I've been a big fan for years, and this guy's been one of the most underrated. He had some injuries for a year or two there, but Godwin, the other wide receiver that gives Tampa Bay one of the best 1-2 punches in all the NFL. When you have those kind of receivers and then you have a good running back, a guy that's eluding tackles in Irving right now, they have weapons. They can move the ball. They can move the chains. And we've seen Baltimore give up yards at times as well, although, again, they have played well against those elite quarterbacks so far this year. So when we look at these two quarterbacks, Jackson and Mayfield, they played 8 times so far. Jackson's got the best of Mayfield with 6 wins in those 8 games. Mayfield's thrown 5 interceptions, and 4 of those came, and you can't, actually 4 of those came when he's really trying to elude crazy rushes. A couple of them were tipped, so he hasn't really been that bad in that situation. He's trying to make plays, and sometimes you have to do that with an average offensive line, but can't give Baltimore freebies. If you give Baltimore freebies, they'll take advantage of it. Of course, we know Baltimore, if you could just get the ball across the 40-yard line, you're going to kick a field goal with their outstanding kicker, and so that's always extra points for Baltimore. As far as Tampa Bay, they're going to need all 3 of their top studs to have big games to beat Baltimore, because Baltimore is really clicking on all cylinders right now. I really am high on Mayfield, way higher than a lot of other people. I gave Mayfield the great grades last year when no one else was, and this year so far I really am impressed with him. He has really settled in. He's now no longer looking over his shoulder, and I always think that's a terrible thing. It's like in college when they say that they have a 2-headed monster, 2 quarterbacks. If you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you ain't got any, because that's not a good situation when quarterbacks are looking over their shoulder. So as far as I'm concerned, it comes down to one factor. Can the Tampa Bay defense stop the bully ball and the Baltimore running of Henry? And the last 4 games, they've been able to really play much better against the run. They're only giving up 101 rushing yards per game. If they keep Baltimore to 101 yards or less in this game, they will win this game straight up. But right now, to me, both offenses are clicking. I think the defenses are going to have some struggles here in this Monday night affair, and I think we'll see some points scored, and should be one of the more exciting games of the entire weekend, and so bet accordingly. So hopefully you enjoy the Monday night game. I'll do a preview on the other game as well, so check for that videotape, and check for all our videotapes on our betting tips on how to be a better winning sports bettor. I've been doing this for 35 years. I know every in and out of how to be a winning sports bettor, and I've been able to do it. It's really hard work, but if you keep checking out the videos and you don't have the time to do the homework, I've been doing the homework for people for 35 years, doing radio shows in over 15 casinos, sports books over the years, and I had the longest running radio show in Vegas, and my sports betting, football betting magazine, the Blue Book, was also one of the most read sports betting publications in the country for many, many years here in the casinos where we gave it away free. It was the hottest thing ever. And so I know football, and I'm having a fantastic football season again. I've been on fire once again in the NFL as I dominate NFL, probably top 5 in the country. If there's 4 people even better with the records that I have had, I'd be stunned. But we love the NFL, and hopefully we can continue to have some big success. So check out our tapes the rest of the year here for Gary Greene and Gary Wins. Have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy your Monday night, guys and girls.